new OGs. The new OGs is a State and Madison Entertainment production, and it's brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that gets them solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, raise the value of your home, and do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Yes, sir. There he is. Yes, XL. What's up, man?
Wait one goddamn minute.
Yeah. I'll hold on for you. This is important. It sounds important.
Are you telling me that folk can get lower electric bill, get a lower electric bill?
You can definitely get a lower electric bill.
Do something good for the environment.
You can do something good for the environment. That's number 2.
And get $500 if somebody else do something good for the environment too.
Those are just 3 of the many great things that can happen. Yes.
Man, that's enough to get better lawyers than Trump got. I swear. He couldn't have paid more than $500 for them niggas. They horrible. I wouldn't let them motherfuckers represent me. So this gotta be better.
Yeah, that's not a high bar, I don't feel like. So
I'm just saying.
Yeah, get yourself over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact or refer somebody that you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. That is the network that we're on right now. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. See all the great shows offered there. Check in daily. They've got new, fresh podcasts you can watch and listen to wherever you listen to pods. I saw some cool things that were going on with People of Comedy. Was that just last night, my friend?
That was just last night. Yeah, we were
just
at
last
the
night.
old Laugh Factory.
The old Laugh Factory, Chicago. Old Laugh Factory.
Good old Laugh Factory.
And you know what? We'll be there again on Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll be at Zany's for a Valentine's Day show. So we're kind of everywhere right now, you know.
Wow.
Get your laughs on with your honey.
We're keeping comedy alive in Chicago right now.
I mean, at the moment, there's really only 2 main clubs inside the city limits that are comedy clubs. Even when everything's going, everything else is independently run essentially. So
yeah,
if you're working both of them right now, and the reason why I bring it up is because obviously we are still in a pandemic. That is a real thing. And so shows are not back open fully to the public. And of course, Chicago, like a number of other cities, does not have a firm grip on exactly what should or shouldn't be open. And so 1 week it's like the bars can be open till 9, and it's just like everybody in the streets for a parade, and it's just like shut everything down, and it's just like you can have 11 people in as long as your place seats 22,000.
Right.
So it's like if your name ends with a Z, you can come inside. It's like But they're not fully back to having live shows full time, I guess. You guys did another round of the completely zoomed from the Laugh Factory stage show.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys did?
Yeah, and that's going to continue for a little bit, but then there's a rumbling that there may be some hybridization of things going on. I'll go ahead and make this announcement now for those who don't know.
Oh shit, we got an announcement.
I will be. It's been out there for a minute, but I don't know if the listeners have heard. I will be directing and producing a live stream event for South by Southwest at Zany's Rosemont at the end of the month, and it will be a hybridized show with 25 folks in the audience. I believe we may even bump it up to 50. I think if COVID restrictions allow. So fully digital and a quarter in person. So that should be fun. I'm excited to see kind of what we can do with that and what that means for the future of the industry.
And just to be clear, like the way that you guys are doing it, it's not like a basic Zoom show where obviously you're on the stage at the actual location.
Yeah.
But also, do the comics, are they able to see people also?
So we have a setup, and it's kind of the same in both spots. We're at the very beginning, and as we go, it'll get more advanced. But we do have monitors, excuse me, where we're an audience.
Up a little bit.
We're an audience. Yeah, very emotional. Very emotional. But there are monitors so that the comics can kind of feel as close to normal as possible, so they can see the Zoom calls while they're on stage, and we pipe in the laughs from the call into the speakers, so it does sound like there's a crowd in the room with them. So it's absolutely as close as you can get to the real thing.
So like as a fan, you buy your ticket, you get a link to the Zoom show, you go into the Zoom window, you turn on your camera and you can turn on your sound. and then the comic can hear you laughing or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Just just make sure when you're watching, if you're in the crowd, turn your TV down so there's no feedback. And like if you gotta fucking talk to your wife or your husband or whatever, mute yourself before you do that, please.
Is there an announcement made before the show? Do they do that?
There
like,
is.
You know how before they were just like turn your fucking phones off or get your ass beat.
Right. Well, you remember how that usually went anyway, so it's pretty much the same except worse because you're in your house, so you're not going to listen to anybody because you're in your own
I'm
house.
gonna let you know right now that Valentine's show is gonna get sketchy midway through the show.
What?
I'm just telling y'all right now.
Oh yeah.
Somebody gonna forget to turn that shit off.
Hey man, well we show the audience. We do have an audience angle, so if it happens,
so you
we'll be broadcasting.
Asses slapping and shit like that.
I mean, that's why I'm doing it. So
like there is an angle where even if you're watching, you can see the whole set. You can see the setup. You can see if there's an audience watching and the whole thing. The way I do it is like I'm running 3 cameras right now, so we have multiple angles with operators on each camera. So it looks like a live special essentially. And then our 4th camera angle is a screen share of the Zoom call itself. So there's the gallery view, shows the whole audience. I don't know. Think WWE right now, except way less technically.
Less chairs.
Yeah, well, less exactly.
Less chairs.
Yeah,
yes.
Less chairs.
Less chairs being thrown.
Yeah. Well, I just, I think it's important because anybody can set up a Zoom thing where they're running a show, and that's not to put anybody down, right? Like there's been
a weird. Put them down. Fuck them.
There's been a weird thing with comedy, and it always is this way with comedy, right? Like the whole fight between stand-up and improv is about what's better, right? Like there's this weird competitive thing that goes on, and even now, like the fight between some people who are really enjoying the time they're having with Zoom comedy and people who really believe in like straight stand-up who are not doing Zoom comedy.
Right.
There's been some disagreement.
Sure.
I mean, we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, who I consider to be the god MC of the comedy game.
Right.
Chappelle. However, I will say the opening of his 10-minute whatever last night, he doesn't do comedy anymore. He does Chappelleisms. But his 10-minute Chappelleisms, he's opened it up kind of shitting on people who were clowning him for catching COVID. I think we gave him some shit. We clowned him on the show, catch COVID. I'm not barking because I'm a hurt dog, but I will repeat my criticism of his ass for catching COVID because even though you were being safe and yeah, you okay, I'm very happy you're okay. You my hero, dog. Nigga, you making this shit is bad. You making this shit worse, man. What the fuck are you doing? Like, do the Zoom shows like my man. Hook up with Jay Webb. Do the motherfucking Zoom shows. Yeah. You get the audience. You get the feedback. You do the whole damn thing. You putting people in danger, nigga.
Yeah, hey, Dave Chappelle, I know you're watching. Please hook up with me.
Well, Dave Chappelle also is not like, there are people who I feel, there's a thing about doing comedy at a certain point where you can decide whether you're going to take this leap of relying on it as your income. Right. And like there are people who are also like, because they started comedy at whatever age they did, and because maybe they took advantage of it early, they may not be great at a lot of other things, which, that's especially when like the things you can do during a pandemic have been reduced, right? Like the number of jobs that you even can do right now have been reduced. So if comedy has been your thing for like 3 or 4 years, you're making a moderate income because you're a road dog or whatever, like those people, I get the need for them to try and figure out a way where they can still do shows for work. But but here's my thing. I don't know if Dave is as in need of the money.
I think he was in the need of what we all need.
Right.
We all need that fucking audience.
But there's other ways to do it is what I'm saying, right?
Like 2 months in, I was basically doing like 90-second stand-up sets at the fucking grocery store. I was literally giving the motherfuckers at the deli like, hey, I got this new bit, nigga. You finna hear it. Give me half pound of that tuna salad too. But yeah, we'll let me run this shit. Like, so I totally understand. But I think, and I know we put all the shit on the politicians and stuff, but I think it would have been a lot harder for the Republicans to fuck off for 6 months or 4 months or however long it was that they fucked off before they even got the $600 checks out and did the unemployment thing. It would have been harder for them to do if people like Dave Chappelle wasn't doing shows, if niggas wasn't making movies. If
Right.
the people at the top would have said no, because by me being here, that makes all these other little motherfuckers, and then I'm referring to us as little motherfuckers in this scenario, all these other little motherfuckers that either have to work the thing that I'm doing, or the venue says if that person's working, you could work. Like, or like if Dave Chappelle ain't performing, a whole bunch of other big name comics ain't performing.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people.
Big name comics ain't performing. Those little comics ain't performing. If those little comics ain't performing, the people who own the business, who actually have control, not control, but the motherfuckers the nigga who owns Zanies actually talks to his congressman. He knows whoever is the congressman. Whoever the congressman is for that area of Chicago, I promise you, the motherfucker who owns Zanies, I promise you.
He knows the alderman for sure. He's in cool with the he and the alderman are in cool.
Him and the alderman are super tight. That nigga might be the alderman for all we know. But I'm saying that those are the type of motherfuckers that actually, like, when they make a phone call to the congressman, that shit gets picked up because they donate large sums or regular sums of money, and they bring other people because they got a venue like that. Right. That's a motherfucker that could be like, hey, I can't even get,
for sure, if
comic
for sure if Dave was like
venue because of this shit. You got to do something.
For sure, if Dave was like, if somebody not as famous as Dave was trying to do shows, and Chappelle and a bunch of other big name comics were like, are you fucking crazy? Like, for sure that would change the tenor down the line, right? Like,
it would shut it down.
But for sure, when people are like, look, Dave found a whole farmland area and ran a show, like, what if we just did some shit out in the open somewhere?
Dude, I wanted to do shit out in the open last summer. Everybody was so terrified. Like, I was gonna do shit in the comedy club in the suburbs near me has a huge parking lot that was empty because nobody was out. And like, why the fuck didn't we just do shows out there for half of the summer? It didn't rain that much this summer. We could have had a whole fucking set of series. How nobody thought of that, I have no fucking idea. We wouldn't have been disturbing anybody. It's a fucking mall parking lot. You know, like it would have disturbed nobody. It wouldn't have been a problem. Excuse me. Nobody wanted to do that shit. And now, because it took so long to get any relief, it got motherfuckers like when Chappelle was doing the farm shit, I was on board with that. I thought that was dope because it's a very isolated thing and stuff like that. But this nigga was like in Houston when he caught COVID. Like, this nigga went at the crib. This nigga was out someplace else. And so while I am about to applaud my man for his triumphant victory, he did something that I don't think I've ever seen an artist do. This nigga beat the devil, as far as I'm concerned. And I disagree with him on the COVID shit. I love Dave, but I disagree with him 100% on the COVID shit.
Yeah.
Especially considering how much that nigga smoked. Like, he lucky he got through it so cool.
He does smoke quite a bit. You know, Rob, you know, you've dealt with immunocompromised situations. I'm not trying to run around all out in this shit either. You know, smoking is probably a thing that would make you want to be less involved in.
Most definitely. Unless you just feel like you've accomplished all that life needs you to accomplish.
He also has mononuclear. What are the mononuclear antibodies? I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. He got that kind of money.
Oh yeah, the monoclonal or whatever.
Monoclonal antibodies. Yeah, he got monoclonal antibodies money.
Yeah, whatever the good shit is, he probably got access.
Although they say that shit's supposed to be free right now.
Free based on what? Because this happened.
So what I've heard doctors on television say is the reason why people aren't getting it is because some doctors in areas don't know that it's available. Like, they literally don't. You know how those ads for fucking drugs say, tell your doctor, which I always thought was a really fucked up thing. I was like, my doctor should know. He went to school for this. I shouldn't be telling him shit about medicine, but okay. Tell your doctor.
That's capitalism, baby.
Yeah, to give you
all that
whatever
is.
medicine.
There's nothing else. I mean, every week we go through this shit. Every week we say this shit, and it always boils down to the bottom line. where follow the cracker money, not just the money, follow particularly cracker money. Now keep in mind, when I say cracker, because I see some of y'all, I see like I can hear the audience's ass tighten and shit. Sphincters of white folks had just created diamonds out of coal a moment ago. Let me explain to you exactly what a cracker is. It has nothing to do with the salty, delicious treat. However, it has to do with the people who cracked the whip during slavery to keep the status quo moving. So when I call you a cracker, know that has nothing to do with your complexion. And here's the second thing. I was once a cracker. I worked in the goddamn jail. What is that if that's not being a cracker, right? Woo. So now as a reform cracker, let me just tell you that anytime there is no, because here's the thing. One way or the other, the cracker's going to get their money. You dig? It's just a matter of which cracker's gonna get it. You cannot go through a 200-year head start of slavery and another 400 years of white supremacy. I mean, and a 400-year total of white supremacy, and not make sure you win every time.
Well, so I think that's a. Go ahead.
No.
You're like, I got it. I think that leads us great into that's a great lead into what we were going to lead off with today. Was talking about the prosecution of Donald Trump in court, because I think what you saw today, like, remember, it seems like there's like it's either a movie trope or it's a real life thing, because for sure I'm sure that shit's happened in real life, where like because of racism or white supremacy, when they finally do get the bad guy on trial, because everybody's already bought and paid for already, the defense is just like, yeah, we just came up here to bullshit for like 15, 20 minutes. We know the shit's in the bag. We ain't even gonna take up all the time. We don't even think we need it. Like there's not even, we're gonna throw up this wild ass video just showing that, like, that, to me, so the House, I think, the Democrats get a lot of shit for being bumbling and for not having a backbone. And I think that the attempt to go after this guy after this was over, like to not just settle on it's just good enough that he lost, I think is like at least an element of, hey man, we're going to try and at least show you got some type of backbone. Going after the impeachment, even though everybody is pretty much in a solid agreement that this dude is probably going to get acquitted, because even though nobody wants to recognize it and everybody wants to go on Twitter and be like, I don't get why, everybody, all these fucking white people, I don't get why, because it's very hard for them to understand that like white supremacy is the real enemy here. Like, and that doesn't mean that you have to be white to bow down to it. It doesn't mean that you knowingly are supporting it. It doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that you can't be redeemed from it.
Man,
but like,
it was niggas on the police force that was crying after the fucking Capitol got raided because they got called nigga while they was getting their ass beat by these white folk, and they was crying talking about this is America. Nigga, you knew that when you took the job.
Right, like you knew the people you work with, nigga. Who you talking?
You know what the fuck you get told to do.
Know who you work with, and so like it is the House. I think watching what they put out. I was very concerned that they were really going to be focused on just the craziness that happened, and they really went back to the beginning on this shit. And they started way back at the beginning of Trump talking about shit being rigged and how he built this up. And they went back to even his campaign. Yeah,
they went to 2015
when he was encouraging violence on the campaign trail.
Yeah,
they like really pointed out this whole thing. And I think
talking about he was gonna pay motherfuckers legal fees and shit.
And I was listening before all this started. Hakeem Jeffries gave an interview, and I like Hakeem Jeffries, even though it seems he always sounds like he's in front of a pulpit at a church somewhere, right? Like everything, like
he speaks with a very weird rhythm.
He sounds like he's trying to rhyme, but he's just like giving up partway through and just gonna finish the sentence. You know what I mean? Like
he realizes like, no, that's not gonna rhyme.
He says the first line, and you're like, he's obviously gonna try and rhyme with what he just said, and then, or like he keeps almost accidentally rhyming and then realizes that he's gonna sound like he's rhyming and then just
like early Jesse Jackson.
I was just about to say he's got that Jesse
figured
Jackson
it out.
rhythm. Yep. Hey, dig this. Here's the thing that I just want to point out based on what you were saying, X. Yeah, you know that the job is what it is, but you really like at a certain age, and maybe now it's a little more revealed to the world. So some of those guys may know better now. But when I started in '94, all I knew is that people was giving me free shit. I never got another ticket, right? It was all type of overwhelmingly positive shit happening to me, even though I was one of them people.
Because you teamed up with the system. You said I will join the machine.
Right. And I'm getting in the movies for $2 and shit. You know, it's all type of little shit. And then they tell
I didn't know that them niggas getting the movies for $2.
Certain films, certain movie theaters, I got in for $1, and then I bought Renee a ticket. So I paid $2.
I hate the niggas even more.
Hey, look, I used to do that to Renee all the time. I'd be like, hey, you buy the snacks, I'll buy the tickets. And one day she finally got next to me when I was buying the tickets, like, wait a minute, this all you been paying for these tickets? and she ain't bought a box of popcorn since.
I used to have a bit where I talk about how I look like a cop and how I don't even pay for coffee at 7-Eleven because but that's a joke about the fact that like cops don't pay. I mean, cops don't pay for shit, man. They know this. That's
the first part. But the second part that blew me today is that these people were so bad at putting together a presentation that they ran out of politicians to insult. Like, first of all, I mean, they kept re-showing the same shit over and over again of people saying fight. Then finally they got to people who wasn't even in politics. Like, what the fuck does Madonna have to do?
Dude, they had Nicole Wallace from MSNBC in one of the threads, and they had somebody from CNN. I was like, them motherfuckers ain't like you just counting any liberal that said the word fight.
Well, and counter to that, the House showed up and they were actually showing shit from Republicans who were like, he needs to call this off. Only like McCarthy saying this is the only guy who can stop it. All the people who quit on his ass after that shit happened, like they did this amazing job. But like, here's why white supremacy is amazing, because there's even the Republicans who are like, yeah, of course, obviously he did that shit. Like, duh, of course he did it. They're still gonna vote to acquit him. They're still and not because they've been like. I
think it's gonna get to 60 votes.
So
here's what I was get 67. Here's what I was saying. 60.
Here's what I was saying about Hakeem Jeffries is that when Hakeem Jeffries gave this interview, he said that these types of things are really for two people. One, it is for the people who are there, right? Like you have to have an underlying belief that, hey man, maybe we'll crack somebody, right? Like maybe we'll start something that'll like really, maybe they miss something. Maybe they'll have maybe we can appeal. Like you have to have that belief. But the other part is you have to present this to the people at home that need to see this shit, because like there's only 100 niggas in there, right? Like there's 100 senators and that's it. So like, fuck him. If you can't find 60, well, there's also 1 million motherfuckers sitting at home watching this shit. So maybe maybe there's some Republicans at the crib who are watching this who didn't know any of this, who are like, oh, okay, maybe that's.
I to piggyback on that. That's the whole point of it, is that you get their vote out there in the public. And let the people who gonna do right know, and the people who gonna do wrong. You just want the vote to be public.
Hey, by the way, real quick, shout out Sam Norton.
Sam Norton, low shout outs.
Bam. But these motherfuckers don't care. The Republicans don't care so much. I don't want to ever hear these niggas. Anything they say about being patriots or patriotic or the anthem shit that they want to cry about, like they're trying to make a big deal about the Mavs not wanting to play the anthem at games and shit. Anything they want to say about patriotism now, they can suck all my dick. All of it. They can suck all my dick. They can suck all the black dick.
140 cops injured. These are the guys.
They don't give a fuck about none of the shit that they say they give a fuck about.
They don't want to defund the police.
If you're a white person watching my show for the first time and you do disagree with what I'm saying, fuck you too. Because here's the deal. You don't get nothing more plainer than a fucking 100 or 1,000, however many motherfuckers it was, storming the goddamn capital of the United States. You get no plainer than that these motherfuckers was wrong and stupid and ignorant. And if you can't see that that's a problem, fuck you. I don't care about your opinion. eat a dick, die, catch COVID twice, nigga. Fuck you.
Thus, the reason we cannot trust politics. That's why we got to be out here on these corners, goddamn it, selling hot dogs or wherever the fuck, and start buying our own shit.
There's only one magic thing that could possibly happen that I dream about happening. And that is, I know there's a lot of senators that actually do, like, don't give a fuck white supremacy and all that stuff. They even believe that that's their side, but they see how problematic it is to be on the vote on the side of this shit. Like, these niggas, there are some of these motherfuckers that have a respect for history down the line, and they can see the writing on the wall, you know what I'm saying, that this shit ain't gonna go their way. So there is one thing that could be a fucking saving grace. And that is if like 15 or 16 of them motherfuckers just don't show up to vote.
There's a very clear thing that's happening right now, and that is that the Republicans who are older were cool with this idea of this like subtle demeaning of everybody who ain't white, right? Like they're like, listen, sometimes a nigga's gonna get shot by a cop. We'll always deny, but for the most part, we're just gonna try and go with this angle of how we doing shit. Cause like black people get a little something, but not everything. Asian people get a little something, but like we still gotta make fun of them and shit. And like that was the game plan. These younger motherfuckers that are coming up though, like the newer generation, the Josh Hawleys and these guys, even the Ted Cruz still falls under that realm. The Madison Cawthorns, the Marjorie Greens, these people, like they are the children of seeing that part get away with it, but still not always win. And so their angle is a lot more burn it to the ground. Their angle is a lot, and you see the instant denial, right? Like you posted that Tucker Carlson shit is like the instant denial where they start talking about immediately they start comparing shit to the Black Lives Matter protests as if inciting an attempted insurrection of the entire federal government is the same as protesting. Like that is
the same. Even let's say, look, you know what? Let's fuck it. I'm sick of the fucking argument with them about whether or not Black Lives Matter was the motherfuckers that was looting. Fuck it, nigga, I was looting. I stole a TV. Eat me. Here's the point. If I broke into a motherfucking Target, that is not the equivalent of breaking into the motherfucking Capitol, nigga.
Right.
Like, Target didn't even take it like that. Target was like, we good. So
what were you saying, Rob?
I didn't break into a Target, by the way. Just,
right. We will not be able to boost this on Facebook either, obviously.
Yeah, I did not break into a Target. I'm not saying breaking into Targets are okay. I'm not endorsing that Target. I got this hoodie from, I'm lying, I don't shop with y'all, but I will if you motherfuckers sponsor us.
Or make shit big enough
Black
for you
history.
to wear.
Right. Rob, what were you gonna say?
So here's the problem with all of it. Like, I mean, we can do the math on why it is what it is, but and a part of that math is realizing that the majority of the country never ran the country, right? So the way that they designed everything about politics is to ensure that just a few people could run everything. And the more complicated it got, the more advanced the algorithm, as it were, they decided to use to fuck over people. When they could just leave it to the dumb white folks, y'all go out there and dress up like clowns and scam to death. Then when people stop being scared, then they changed it where the law was different. And then as it goes higher and higher, the law gets more different. So now the new catchphrase, the new thing they're doing is talking about how there's so much voter fraud when they know damn well there isn't. But if you could just, all you really have to do in white supremacy is give a reason. It does not have to be legitimate. It just only needs to be a reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic thing.
I'm not 100% sure if you guys caught the thing I said, though, about if 15 or 16 of them niggas didn't show up to vote.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen, dude. They're not going to do that. That is a very pie in the sky.
That is a pie in the sky. It is.
That's a 7 p.m. MSNBC hope. That's not a
Nice shot. For the East Coast, that's 7 p.m. Central. 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So they know what the fuck you're talking about. But actually, he's the only motherfucker that I don't watch. But anyway, listening to the questions, although it's from the same motherfuckers, the bitch that always feels concerned about shit, but then she always does the thing that she was always concerned about. Collins
Susan
and
Collins. Yeah, Collins and Murkowski.
Collins and Murkowski asked a very pointed, specific question. I'm pretty sure the motherfuckers voting to convict this nigga. I think they're part of the 10 Republicans that are going to vote to convict. And they said, when did the president know about the insurrection? And what did he do to stop it? Please be specific of exactly when he found out.
Who they asked this question to?
They asked it to his lawyer.
To the defense.
To the defense lawyer.
Because it's question time
and
now.
Two Republicans.
It's 4 hours of question
asking this shit. And do you know what this nigga's response was? That's why we needed an investigation. The Democrats rushed this and we didn't have an investigation. So who knows? I know he tweeted at like 2:38, so it was like sometime before that. I swear to God, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm not that far off from what the fuck he said. That was like if you go back and watch the tape, it's pretty close to what the fuck he said. Like this nigga, you are his lawyer. What the fuck do you mean we don't know?
That's my point though, man. Is like that's why them niggas is still gonna show up and vote to acquit him, because it is that classic situation where all them shows you watch and all them real life things are like, we finally got him. We're finally gonna get some goddamn justice. You know what I mean? Like every time you,
I never thought
the cops. They get, they finally arrested the cop who've been killing all the black people.
Hey, how the world is
everybody
I never thought
like it's gonna be. This will be it. All the QAnon people will shake their heads and the cobwebs will fly free, and we will hug each other and rejoice. And all of a sudden, the white fathers will not be mad at their daughters' fucking big dark mandingos, and everything will be love. But that's not what's gonna happen. It's just not. That's not what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
They're going. Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz have been going in and sitting with the defense team and helping them.
Which is insane.
They're jurors on the fucking case, and they're going in and helping the defense team. You know what I mean?
Which is why. And I know this is gonna hurt some feelings and step on some toes. But I just don't. This is why I no longer am as fond. That's why I'm not as fond as Obama as I used to be. Like I followed every excuse that he had for not doing what he needed to do, and then afterwards I watched Mitch McConnell. Like this dude was the Barack Obama was the head of the Harvard Law Review. I think he was the first brother to do it.
Yeah.
And you get out politicked by Mitch McConnell. Come on, man.
Politics, nigga. But Mitch McConnell had the lever.
I mean, he didn't have the lever,
he
man.
Didn't have the Senate or the Congress.
The first 2 years, he had it all.
And that's he
passed healthcare, dog.
Healthcare
is a bad motherfucker, boy.
He got healthcare. Wait, whoa. I hate this. Niggas always be diminishing.
Oh my God. What did the other dude get? He got everything he wanted.
Because white folks voted everybody out.
For their babies. They did all type of Hitler shit.
You guys.
They were effective, bro.
The president don't get to do shit. The president don't get to do shit if he don't got at least one of the motherfucking houses.
What you are outlining is exactly the very point that we've been making about this section of the show today. And that is white supremacy. Like until this country truly roots out the issues of white supremacy, this is going to happen. Obama won. The Democrats had control of the legislative branch. They pushed healthcare through, and that was great. And what happened? Exactly what you said happened. Republicans with conservatism and the Tea Party bullshit rose up, took over seats of power, and pushed back against him and retook over their legislatorship, trying to talk about him being a birth. They pushed back on using race, using the fact that they believed he was born in another country to lure people back over to their side. That is white supremacy once again at work in the process. That is systematic. That argument you guys are having is really just the same thing. You guys are talking about the same thing, which is when did the white supremacy kick in to fuck up what the dude was trying to do? Because had they just been like, holy shit, he got health care, let's get behind this and see what other good ideas this nigga might come up with, there might have been a whole different thing. But that was not going to happen. That was not the same way.
The crazy shit about Obama The crazy shit, Obama, just to show you how fucked up, how shitty they were about the, shutting down anything this nigga tried to do. He found ways to take their ideas and pitch them shits to liberals and like get liberals behind it. And as soon as he got behind the idea, them niggas was taking their own ideas, the things that they had campaigned. The motherfucking McCain campaigned on cap and trade. That was his motherfucking idea against Obama. So Obama said, okay, you niggas y'all want to fight? Fuck it. I give y'all a win. Let's do cap and trade. Them niggas was like, nah, that's some bullshit. Cap and trade is bullshit. Why the fuck would we want to do that? That's some socialism shit. Nigga, it was your idea.
You are pretty
his
much
his healthcare plan was verbatim Mitch Romney's healthcare plan. The niggas that wrote Mitch Romney's healthcare plan wrote Obama's healthcare plan.
Two points, two real quick points. Number one, all you need is a reason. It doesn't have to be a real reason. And what did they tell you at the time? Well, that's only good for a state. It ain't good for the country.
Yep.
Dig what I'm trying to tell you. And this is why what you're saying, Bobby, is true.
That shit was so hilarious.
Here's the problem with it. The first time you smack me on the forehead, I might think it's a mistake. But if you smack me in my shit for 2 fucking years, it's something wrong with me, not you. Now dig what I'm trying to tell you, man. The shit that Trump did, he did whether you gave a fuck or not. We are consistently trying to prove to people who you cannot prove to that you know what's fair and what's just. After 200 years of being fucked over, you're not going to fuck over them. It's only going to get better for them the better it gets for you. But because you can't convince them of that. But because, and sometimes, you know what I'm saying, like 2 years, dude? Come on, man. I know that government moves slow, but it moves at exactly warp speed when Crackers was running it. And we still trying to negotiate with him.
The only thing I will say about Obama is that, like, and he did a lot of shit I have very large problems with. But the one thing I will say is, like, to rest the necessity to fix it all after 400 years is a lot to put on, you know, even if he was the first black dude to be the head of the Harvard Law Review, that is still a heavy weight to be like, damn, nigga, you didn't do more than healthcare. Like, that's still, that is still, look, hey man, for the first guy through the door, that is an accomplishment that you should.
But again,
that nigga didn't get caught out on the balcony smoking a Newport, getting his dick sucked by Beyonce it's a goddamn miracle, okay? Like, get that nigga.
He had every right had it consensually been available to him.
Again, dude, all you explaining is just another reason why it's hard to be the first black anything. Nigga, you wanted that job. You should have been prepared for the crackers you about to face. You've been facing them all your life, and you still got outflanked by these cats. What I'm saying to you is,
at no point in Barack Obama's career.
Statement, bro. Let me finish this statement. You gonna tell me Barack Obama can't outflank? Now, all the shit you just said, fucking getting your dick sucked on, he didn't do none of that. He's smart, and he can't outflank the dude from reality TV. Come on, man. It's more
okay, here's the thing. Barack Obama, if Barack Obama had done one fucking iota of anything Trump had done, that nigga would have been impeached in 6 months. Impeached and convicted.
There's also, I think we're also giving way too much credit to what we're saying. Like, what Trump actually, like, what he did has not been like as far as like actual getting things done for the country has not been very impressive to me. He got one big $1.9 trillion tax thing done like a couple of years ago, but like the wall that he was talking about, he didn't really build a wall. He built like a couple miles worth of a wall.
He actually did like. He built a wall. He imprisoned some children.
Right.
What he did was what white supremacy needed him to do. He made all the black people afraid. He took people's kids. This is the type of shit that make crackers feel better. And he got them a bunch of judges so that because they know that you outnumber them now. So any law you try to pass, you take it to them. Try getting the law passed with the dude from Uncle Tom's Cabin and the cave broad. See if you can get a law passed with them dudes trying to get anything done. You will not.
Let's talk about somebody who did manage to outflank somebody. We talked about some people. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Dave Chappelle had come out with I think you said it best, X. He doesn't really do specials anymore. He comes out and he'll do like, here's a 15-minute thought I had about a subject I'm gonna talk about right now. And he had done one before about his special and how Viacom had owned the rights to it and HBO had gotten rights to it, and he was not getting paid for it, and they were playing it and all this other shit. And he asked people to boycott it. And like you said, they boycotted it so hard that they fucking Netflix has given him money now. They paid him a couple $1 million to repair their relationship and now have streaming rights services to it. Did HBO
and he got his name back? I believe he said he got his name back too.
Yeah, he got his name back on
Chappelle
it.
Show.
It's yeah, it's a
hard to get people to give you shit back.
Yeah, he got paid for it. He announced it by doing another, like, what are you, 10 minutes? Another 10 minutes?
Yeah, he did like 10 minutes. I think he had one joke. I'm not shitting on him about the one joke. I'm just saying I'm gonna watch that shit again after this is over. I dig Dave Chappelle talking, but it's not funny. It's more a Chappelleism.
I did like that you said that finally after these years I can say it's been a pleasure doing business with you, which is I think it's a great line. It's, it is a weird thing for comedy right now. You know what I mean? Like in regards to the political shit, there was an article that came out recently in regards to a comedy club out in New York and some fans of the show Opie and Anthony, and how there is a weird thing in comedy, especially because cancel culture and consequences, which I think the Trump situation is really about. There's a fight over that, whether that's consequences or something else going on there, which I think it's consequences. People have tried to cancel Dave Chappelle or have tried to take away his platform for some of the stuff that he said, but I think his level of influence, I think, has shown that his I think more than anything, the things that he does and the words that he says around it kind of show who he is as a person more than anything that he's than like a joke that he may have told. You know what I mean? Like when you watch the totality of Chappelle, you're like, oh, I for sure will just buy he was just making a joke, right? Like he was making nobody any harm, obviously, right? Like that's I think the more you watch Dave Chappelle, the more that's the impression you get, because you just can tell that he's got a view of humanity that is like a little more concerned than just being some regular ass asshole, You know
what I think the thing that's fucked up about cancel culture is there are some things that needed to be taken out of society. Words that were being said, everybody got their nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so, different groups had their nigga, and they didn't want you saying nigga, just like we don't want certain groups saying nigga to us, or other groups saying nigga to us. And so I respect that. I think the place where cancel culture goes too far is where you can't, like, you think you didn't get rid of all the jokes, motherfucker. There's like, okay, there's some shit we won't say because it's inappropriate, but I'm still gonna make fun of some shit about anybody because everybody got some funny shit going on. You know what I'm saying? If I can't make a joke about somebody with a disability, that's not me being respecting their disability. That's me fucking erasing them and not making them a part of society and shit. It's how you do it, and it's whether or not you're punching down or having fun with them as opposed to attacking them or making fun of something that is beyond their capability to fix or to change. There's a way to do it. Well, I'm not going to do it right now live on this show, but I'm saying there's a way to do it.
I think what you're describing is that there are people who are critical of comedy or speech who don't understand the properties of the speech they're being critical of. Like, if I'm telling you a joke and for the sake of you understanding things about the joke, I have to explain that someone in the joke has a disability, but the joke is about something that I did that was stupid or something like that. But because of the necessity of whatever the story is, it's important that you know this piece of information. Like, it's not a joke about a disabled person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not the subject of the joke. That is just a part of what I'm telling you about what's going on. And so it's one thing if I make fun of the disability, that is a problem, right? Like that is a problematic thing. But it's different if it's not the subject. And I think there's a lot of people who are critical who just think that because you say a word, that automatically means that that's the thing you're making fun of. And that's just not what's happening. And, you know, but the issue too, though, is that there are a lot of people whose entire comedy is built on being able to do that, who don't want to throw that shit away, who like doing that. And it is costing people some work. It has also opened the door for people who want to do more than just like talk about somebody's disability, but also talk about different races in a particular way. And that article that came out really talked about how, you know, the whole Proud Boy thing jumped off from a network that was built on or the back of one of the guys from the Opie and Anthony show, which is where, you know, guys like Jim Norton and Patrice and all these other, you know, Rogan back in the day, a ton of comics have gone through there. And that's not to say that they're all aligned with the Proud Boys because of that, but the network started by one of the guys from Opie and Anthony opened the door for something that has become a connection between right-wing thought and a number of comics.
it's I guess what makes it so complicated for me is that I tend not to care. I mean, well, to a degree. Like if I'm gonna talk about titties, I'm gonna talk about titties. I'm an old dude. I'm loud. I don't give a shit what you think. But at the same time, I don't have bad intentions towards a person. That's the thing. Like for me, I take two things into account, and one is that I know that I'm pretty delightful as a human being, and I go out of my way to be so, right? And it's very few people who know me would say, I don't really like that nigga because I go out of my way to be nice to people. That's number one. Number two, your track record means something. Right? If you've been walking around with tiki torches talking about killing Jews and shit, then goddamn it, you can't say certain shit. You understand? Like you don't have that right. Because the reality is, if you had the opportunity, you would probably do the shit you're joking about. Whereas there are some people who would joke about some shit that they would never do. Right? So to me, your track record and who you are as a human being has a lot to do with whether your type of culture should be canceled. Because for me, when you complain about it, it's just another place that white supremacy could hide behind. You know what I'm saying? It's just another way for you to say, well, you know, you can't say nothing to me because of cancel culture. No, it's bullshit. And that's all I mean. That's the only way it makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think that's what we ran into with Gina Carano with Disney. You know, she was on the show The Mandalorian. She's an ex-UFC fighter. I used to have a huge crush on Gina Carano because she was like, first of all, she's one of the first badass fighters, like female fighters I had ever seen. But she also wasn't like a stick figure. Like she had body on her, and she was fine as fuck, man. Like
She's
I was like,
thick.
like she was dope. And she started getting into action films and doing that shit. And then she got this role on The Mandalorian, and I was very excited. And during the first season or after the first season, there was already some heat that was building because she had said some things that were transphobic. There had been some issues with a couple other things she'd said when the pandemic hit. She had been very anti-mask. You know, she shit on Black Lives Matter at one point. There's been a bunch of shit, and it's been consistent, right? Like I think you know, she to get to the end part of what's happened is she got fired. Well, Disney said
I was still trying to fuck with her too, man.
Disney said she is not currently under contract with us, which I mean, so they finished the second season of The Mandalorian, and if they haven't signed her for a third, that just means that like we didn't need to fire her. We ain't got no new business with, like, you know, the contract's over. Like the way it works in acting is you sign a deal, you're employed from here to here. And then that's it, right? You shoot your days, you go home, you come back, you do your VO work. You know, you come in for.
And they haven't announced the season 3, right?
They haven't fully announced season 3 yet. So like they haven't even begun casting season 3 yet. So it's very easy to just be like, we, you know, that was last year, nigga. We don't fuck with this anymore.
Damn, it's messed up. Such and such got killed.
Her ass.
But they also said that her shit was abhorrent, right? They were also like, but yeah, all that shit is also gross. The thing is, like, and there are a lot of people that think that, like, you know, and I guess what the last straw was is that she posted a picture of these people in, you know, Jewish people in Nazi Germany during the Holocaust, and it was basically a comparison of the fact that there were people that it wasn't just the Nazis that beat up on Jewish people, but the regular citizens who beat up on the Jewish people during the Holocaust, and asked how different that was than like talking shit about somebody for their political views. And that is what finally set people off. And there's been, you know, everything from just bad wording to anti-Semitism have been thrown at her. And even if she didn't mean it in an anti-Semitic way, hey man, if you're offending Jewish people with that, it's probably not awesome, right? Like, like a real easy tip is never compare what is some low level adversity in your life to the Holocaust or slavery. That's just an easy tip, right? Like,
there's white people watching this show. This is a 100% real question. Does being racist make you come? Like, what the fuck do you get out of it, man?
Well, they don't have a thing. What the fuck do you get out of it? Like, does it make you come? Because, like, is that a secret? Like, that shit makes you never lost. Like, oh. When you ain't never lost, you have to, like, steal somebody else's hardship to like take it your own.
Like I don't get it.
What would they? The only time they ever lost was to each other. So what is they? That's that Braveheart shit. Like the Braveheart shit they love because it was white people finally getting the upper hand on white people.
Whoa, wait. We always say this shit. I want to make a point of clarification because we got some niggas to blame for this shit that don't get any credit. The Moors, for like 600 years, I believe. I don't know. Somebody go fuck with me. Somebody gonna text me and give me the right information. But the Moors ran Southern Europe for a very long period of time. There are still buildings that exist in Spain and France, and I believe even Italy, that were built by Moors, black people. That was in Europe, and the entire crusade was the white people finally getting the upper hand and beating the Moors out of fucking out of Europe and back into Africa. And my point to say is the shit we are experiencing now is because of them niggas.
yeah. The shit
we have just not flipped the motherfucking balance back yet. That's on us.
I actually posted that shit yesterday. I said the Crusades happened, so of course I believe some maniacs would storm a nation's capital based on some bullshit. Like that is, yeah, of course that would happen. That seems like obviously what would happen. But the thing is, like, you know, there are people that were like, she didn't say anything that was so horrible in and of itself, which I disagree with. I do believe that it is telling that you think that being a transphobic bigot is what conservatism is now, right? Like, oh, is that conservative speech? Because to me, that conservative speech I thought was like, you know, low taxes and states' rights. I thought that
it's crazy. Right. It's crazy to me how much they tell on themselves and don't even realize how much they tell on themselves. Tucker Carlson and Lindsey Graham both were when Biden's inaugural speech, when he was talking about how fucked up racism was and all this shit was and how we got to fight it, the motherfuckers talking about, I took offense to that. Nigga, you only take offense to it if you racist. Like the only possible way for you to, because he didn't say southern states or white people in Lindsey Graham's district,
that's like that dude who stormed the Capitol.
To you other than racism and white supremacy, and your ass took offense to it. So, if Tucker Carlson, if you take offense to that, fam, you calling yourself out as a racist, man.
That's like that. I love it when Lindsey Graham and Tucker Carlson clutch their pearls. It's just hilarious. I'm like, come on, man, that's the best y'all could do.
That's like that dude who stormed the Capitol with the shirt that said anti-Antifa on it. That was.
So you basically are fascist. You literally telling people, I love fascism and shit.
Wait, do you want to know how crazy the misinformation cult is? There are people that mistakenly believe that Antifa means anti-First Amendment. There are people that the reason
hilarious to me.
they don't get that means anti-fascist. They think that means anti-First Amendment, and they will not believe it any. Like now, when you're like, no, they're like, no, that's not what the fuck that means. That means some other shit.
Like when they try to tell the little brother why he was on one knee. You're not on one knee because of Black Lives or none of that stuff. You just anti-American. Like everything, they got to label who you are.
All they need is a reason, right? All they need is a reason.
Exactly. That's all.
Well, the thing, so like, there's a lot of people who are trying to, and it's interesting because people like create such terrible false equivalencies when they try and explain away Gina Carano's situation. And the reality is this: like, if she was currently employed and they decided to let her go or decide to not work with her anymore, the situation is Disney is a multi-billion-dollar international publicly traded company who just broke their own record of having 95 million subscribers to Disney Plus, their new channel on which The Mandalorian airs, which, by the way, still has more viewers than WandaVision does right now, okay? There are more people still watching The Mandalorian than that. So obviously this is an important show. And if a bunch of customers of that show find that the words that a certain employee keeps talking about are very problematic and is threatening their business model, their capitalism would instruct them to get the fuck rid of this person, right? Like, if I work for the NRA and I go online every day and I tweet about how guns are bad, I'm probably going to get called into the boss's office. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, Bobby, real quick, got to talk to you about some stuff. Hey, tell your fiance we said happy birthday, but real quick about these tweets.
Yeah, I mean, you just like, they have a responsibility. Like, okay.
Hey, Bobby. Hey, Bobby, they call you down to the office. Like, hey, man, did you hear about your farewell party? You're like, what? Farewell party?
Yeah, security's already there.
Like, I'm being fired for my political views. Like, what are you talking about? Like people are fired for their political views all the time, right? Like, my fiance works for a place where she can't post a lot of certain things on social media, or else she loses her fucking job. She doesn't have millions of followers. She doesn't have people that would like do things at her behest. You know what I mean? And she can't do that shit. I have friends who are polyamorous who've lost work hours over being open about the fact that they're just not in a monogamous relationship. How is that not?
Everybody working right now on this show, including James, all of us have jobs that if we post some ignorant shit, we go lose work.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, like, I agree that it is important that people have the freedom to say what they want to say. I think it's very important. But the only way that a functioning society works, where there's going to be more than one, once you get three people, there's going to have to be some compromise on what we're going to call each other and how we're going to talk to each other, right? Because if there's just two of us and you say some fucked up shit and I murder you, well, we solve the problem. Right? But the minute there's three, there's somebody who's going to be judging what the fuck is about to go down.
You know what? And you know what's so crazy, Bobby?
But like, so here's the thing: is like, you can only say so much. Like, for us to be able to continue to work here, where we're going to keep this thing moving, you can only get away with saying so much shit before the company that employs you is like, well, we just can't have that. You can't be anti-mask when the industry that you work in is relying on people to follow the fucking rules. Like, that shit, it's just not going to work, man. You can't keep a gig that way.
But the opposite of that, and that's the thing that just always, all they need is a reason, is that when Twitter shut down that dude's, I don't even like saying the dude's name, the orange fella, when they shut down his Twitter account, everybody was like, oh, free speech, oh, free speech. Well, dude, you can say what you want to say outside of my house, but once you come in here, you say some shit I don't like, I'm fucking you up. You know what I'm saying? That's my option. You dig? And that's the thing that just always tickles me.
Technically, I just want to real quick. I got a text message from my lawyers, Rob. You fucking you up is not. You could just kick them out of your house. That is your option. Fucking them up is still assault.
Yeah, you still can't fuck them up. The other thing too is, like, you know, there's all these. You know, here's the reason why today is I feel more about consequences and cancellation is The bitch is still on Twitter. She didn't get kicked off of no platform. She's on every platform still. There's nobody stopping her from speaking her mind. She can freely do that. Here's the other thing that happened. She signed a deal with Ben Shapiro. She signed a deal to produce movies and star in movies with Ben Shapiro's. I guess he has a production company that actually does.
That is a career move from working with Lucasfilms and Disney to Ben Shapiro.
To the Daily Wire or whatever the fuck he runs, whatever his shit is.
Oh my God, yeah, that is. Yeah, you know what? The bagels are gonna be much worse.
I don't think he's allowed to be alone in the same room with her. I think that's the Ben Shapiro and his wife rule. I think they got some weird ass shit.
Oh my God, the facts are gonna be horrible.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird situation. But she's not.
Craft service is gonna be shit, right?
Here's the thing, right? Like one. I don't know if she got fired or if they're just going to decide they don't want to work with somebody who could be that much of a liability for them, right? So that's a thing for Disney. Two, she's not out of work. She's got work right now. She signed a whole nother deal. It may not have been with the company that she like. You also don't have the right to work with the biggest fucking entertainment company just because you want to, right? Like, but she's not denied work. Trust me, I'm sure there are some racists who would be glad to employ her. You know what I mean? Like,
let's keep it 100. Disney, if they had their druthers, Disney, I mean, if they, had their druthers, they'd probably want to keep her. It's not like Walt wasn't a fan of those Nazis himself.
So I'll say this about Walt. While he was apparently racist, there is still one, he's dead. So, if we're gonna judge it by that, like most of the companies in this country were originally owned by racist ass motherfuckers. You think the Waltons were super fucking chill with black folk? You think Henry Ford, but try being racist at Ford now, you'll get fired, right? Yeah, of course. All the niggas, Walt wasn't the only racist business owner who had a company that's still in operation today, right? But you can't be discriminatory today. So whatever, right? It's the way it goes. I will say this, so it's a
Bobby Hill in the role of Xavier Lamont.
It's actually hard to find anything that says that Walt was actually anti-Semitic. So that's a tough find. Yeah, there's nothing out there that really says that he was anti-Semitic.
Oh, so you
said
just the cartoons, company can cover
just the cartoons he drew that were racist as fuck.
Yeah, racist for sure, but there's nothing out there about him being really anti-Semitic. So.
Oh, okay. I did say the Nazi shit. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not trying to redeem Walt Disney. I'm not trying to save Walt Disney on the show. There is some differences, but he's also dead. You know what I mean? If he was alive right now, he'd have probably they got rid of Donald Sterling because he said he didn't want his girlfriend taking pictures with the black guy.
Hey, is he dead?
No, but all that guy literally said was, you can fuck the black guys, just don't take pictures with them, and they fired him for it. You know what I mean? So obviously Walt wouldn't have a gig today if he was alive.
Hey, what's fucked up? He got fired from some shit he owned. The entire
for being
the entire point of owning some shit is that you can't get fired from it. And he got fired from some shit he owned.
Yeah, but when you own it, that means they got to compensate you for it. Even when
he got paid.
He got paid a lot.
And
then he had to give half to his wife.
Here's how white supremacy wins: is that when he was going through his shit, when it first kicked off, franchises were worth $700 million, $800 million, right? There was a change in the bargaining agreement when his shit went down. And when the Clippers franchise was the first franchise that went for $2 billion, right? So not only did he get it, but he bought that franchise for $1.35 back in '78 when they were in San Diego, right? He bought them for a pack of smokes and $1.35 because that's what dollars were back then. And he got kicked out for $2.1 billion or some shit. You know what I mean?
Dude. Not that long ago, you could walk up and get really, really good seats at a Clippers game.
Yeah.
It was not that long ago. I lived in LA. It's been 11 years since I lived in LA. One of my employees, his girlfriend worked for, didn't work for. She was a fucking, whatever the Clipper girls are called. I can't remember what they're called. The Clipper dancers. She was a Clipper dancer. So we used to get free tickets for that shit. And they were good seats because nobody went to fucking Clipper games.
Yeah.
They were trash. And then that fucking deal happened, and that motherfucker got $2 billion on his way out.
You know,
or he got $1 billion. His wife got $1 billion.
Who's also on their way out is probably going to be Joss Whedon. Charisma Carpenter came out and claimed that he was an asshole on set. Obviously, Warner Brothers thought so lowly of the of some of the work they done. They brought Zack Snyder back to remake a whole fucking back end of a movie again, a 4-hour movie. Now they gave Zack Snyder $70 million to go back in and basically fix Joss Whedon's work on Justice League, redo the shit. But multiple people have come out basically and said that Joss Whedon is essentially a mean person on set. He's a piece of shit basically on set. He takes advantage of the power dynamic in ways that are not becoming, which is, I think the more you have, the more you diversify the directors that you have, the more obvious shitty behavior becomes. It's like the first time you have a coach who doesn't yell and scream at you the whole time, but you still get results, and you're like, oh wow, you mean I don't have to get yelled at all the time? What the fuck was I doing? Like that's what happened. Like I heard an interview with Olivia Wilde, who's been directing shit now, who's like, the one thing I won't allow on my set is like arguments. Like there is no arguing. Like she goes, if someone she fired Shia LaBeouf from a movie because she's just like, I just don't deal with people who are going to be like, if you're gonna be an asshole, I'd rather just fire you, right? Like, yeah, she got a no asshole policy. And so, like, obviously Joss has a different way of going about his work. And he will also probably be missing pretty soon. So
this is a world like the coaches that I played for, one of them is actually still coaching. But he was the more now type coach, even then than all the other ones. But the coaches that raised me, the coaches that oh my God, none of the shit. I used to get called so many motherfuckers at 5 o'clock in the morning by grown ass men when I was a teenager. And it was crazy. And the shit they used to have us do, you couldn't do none of that now.
No,
all that shit was illegal. It was child abuse.
Yeah. I was in the Army. And there was at least one time when I was about to beat up the drill sergeant, and they caught me in the room, and we had a conversation, but it was more than one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it really didn't get that physical, but they let me know in uncertain terms, hey, if you still on dude, we gonna bust you up. Because it got to the point where I was about to hit them, and they caught me and took me in this little room, and we had this conversation.
It's wild, man. That's wild. And some other shit that's going on. Elon Musk has been pumping up Bitcoin. I know we were talking about GameStop a few weeks ago. That was a big deal. GameStop has quieted down. At one point, it was up in the $400 range. It is now.
Last time I looked at it, was at 60 something. I haven't looked at it in a couple days. Though.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around $50 or something like that.
Yeah, but $50.
Bitcoin had been in the high like $30,000 range. It was like somewhere around 40K at one point for one Bitcoin. And Elon Musk made an announcement the other day that they were dumping like 1.5 billion into Bitcoin, and we're going to make it so that they could accept Bitcoin for Tesla. So you could essentially buy Tesla with Bitcoin. And the stock price is now at $47,000. So it went from like 38, 39. It was like hovering around 40 for a while, and then boomed up to 47.
Dude, I gotta give a huge shout out to James. When Bitcoin was at like 17 or 18,
10.
He was like, but was it 10?
Yeah.
It was
10.
You were like, buy boys, buy it now, boys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna buy boys. And I've told Rob this recently. I don't really fuck with Bitcoin, mostly because I just can't wrap my mind around why anybody gives a fuck about a
I
Bitcoin.
can help you right now if you want.
Yeah, we'll talk. I mean, I understand.
I'd be happy
I
to.
understand how. I understand. Never mind.
All I can think about is that scene in Fargo season 4 where Lloyd Cannon goes to sit down with that dude at the bank to show him the credit card.
Let me ask you this: Does Bitcoin have an army? Like, cause the dollar got an army.
Yeah, that's 100% my problem. Like the Bitcoin, like the dollar has the Iron Bank, and the Iron Bank. And these motherfuckers got big ass armies and missiles and all that kind of shit. That's gonna make that's what the dollar has trust in.
How did the Iron Bank fare against the White Walkers?
Oh, with the
yeah,
Bitcoin is the White Walkers. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking?
Let's go, bro. Let's fucking go, dude.
It does like it. So
and then why do they have to be the White Walkers? Here we go again.
Wow.
All they
but
need
see, no one is. But see, even the Iron Bank isn't prohibited from getting involved in Bitcoin, right? So like, there's a lot of like now that all you need is the right companies to be open to Bitcoin, and then you can't really stop it from being a thing, right? Like, you like it's just gonna be. It's just going to be another, and like you can put dollars into Bitcoin, so like the dollar doesn't have to necessarily go away. It doesn't have to be about destroying. That's the thing, right? So like I'm
not afraid of the dollar going away. I am saying if somehow, some way, I know it's like the unhackable shit. But let's say
the security of it is a big deal.
Yeah, but everything that's unhackable at some point it gets hacked. That's the whole point of the hacking shit.
Yeah, but they'll hack Bank of America before they'll hack my Bitcoin.
They have.
You know what I mean? Like you'll get into my actual cash you'll get into my Iron Bank money before you'll get into my digital money.
I understand that that's.
And if I got the digital money, I can back that shit up, especially if it's a stock price that goes from 10 to 40.
Today, at the speed of technology, I just don't feel comfortable believing that that's 100% true 7 years from now.
Who's to say anything is going to be true 7 years from now? You know what I mean? Like Clubhouse, like look at Clubhouse.
Hey, Don Jr.'s first term might be dope.
Oh my God.
Clubhouse blew up on Apple, right? Like Clubhouse blew up on Apple. All these fucking people who have Apple phones who think they're better than everybody got super excited because they got a new app that fucking Android people didn't have. They were super jacked about it. It came out, I think, yesterday that Facebook is going to be making a Clubhouse clone. So good luck.
Yeah, you better bust the doors down to the Clubhouse before.
Yeah, they better. If I'm Clubhouse, I better hurry up and roll out that Android version real quick because because worldwide there are way more Android phones than there are iPhones. There are more because you can put Androids into cheaper phones and still have them work. They don't have to be off that same manufacturer. So once Facebook has their shit out. If Clubhouse hasn't gone to market with a wider version and more options and some better shit, it's a wrap, homie. Because Apple doesn't own Clubhouse. Clubhouse is its own shit. So like Apple has no need to. They don't care whether fucking they get swallowed up or not, right? Like,
yeah, because that Facebook shit gonna be on Apple too.
Yeah, Apple ain't losing shit, dog. They got worry about none of it. But it also is a sign of just like. Oh yeah, that is what can happen when you're worth 140 billion. You know what I mean? You just be like, that looks cool. I'm gonna make one of them.
That's Jeff Bezos shit. Jeff Bezos probably Jay-Z, Zuckerberg on that shit. I'll show you how to do this, son.
Well, it is a low key shot because Apple and Facebook have been they've been at odds for a minute here. They are also into some shit.
All them niggas at odds. Microsoft, Apple. This is how the shit is. I don't know I'm not 100% sure if this is still going on, but Google and Apple's their software updates have nicknames that are shots that go all the way back to some shit that's like between two coders from way, way back in the day with the two companies. I can't remember what the story is, but Google the shit.
It's the one thing that that's the one thing when I watch movies that are about the future that I never buy is how like everything is seamlessly working together. You know what I mean? Like there's too many different companies that all your electronics just work wherever the fuck you are and all the different shit. No fucking way. There's no way. There's got to be some shit where you go to plug in, you're like, oh shit, it's a Smithson. I need a Jameson. This is not gonna, you know what I mean? Like these niggas ain't going over. There's 17 different. There's Apple, Siri, and Google. Like there's always gonna be like 4 or 5 of these motherfuckers out here you got to fight against to make your shit work. It's a weird situation.
I committed to one thing. I regret it, but whatever. But I have all Google shit. So
I don't
like,
regret that at all.
Yeah, that's great.
I have a vested interest in Google winning because I don't have to get new shit.
I know, because y'all remember, some of y'all may not be old enough to remember, but remember Betamax?
Yeah.
Remember laser
It's
discs?
so much better.
Remember laser discs?
Hey,
I know.
for the record, historically, I have always chosen the wrong technology. Every fucking time. I used to have a Zune. Remember those?
Oh God! Oh
I used to have a
God!
Zune. I chose like video games. I never chose the fucking popular one. I always chose
You used to own Plymouth cars. You used to own
Dreamcast.
I had a
Dreamcast guy.
I had
love
an
that shit.
Odyssey. I had an Odyssey, and everybody else had Atari.
Yeah. I had an Odyssey, fam. I was an Odyssey guy. Yes.
You're big into GoBots. Did you have GoBots?
GoBots.
I don't think I had GoBots, man. I think I had the shit that was below GoBots, like whatever the knockoff of the GoBot shit was. I swear, dude. I even had. There was a moment where this came out. Sega Saturn. Nigga,
Yeah.
I went hard for a Sega Saturn, dude. I had like 15 games when Sega Saturn only had like 25 games total. I had, like, motherfuckers. And
Remember the Atari Jaguar?
I was sure that was gonna be the
Yeah,
future.
bro.
The
That was the
Atari
first console you could
Jaguar?
play Doom on. Was the Jaguar.
the Atari Jaguar. That was some-
Historically, I have always chosen the wrong fucking song, the wrong technology. Whatever one was cool, I was like, fuck that cool shit. I'm gonna go with this off-brand shit, and it never works out. So Google, good luck.
two things for Black History Month. One, Aunt Jemima finally got replaced on the pancake shit. It's now called Pearl Milling, which just sounds like Aunt Jemima's real name.
Yes!
You come home, Pearl Marilyn. Won't you come home?
I was like, damn, they gonna name it after the bitch's real name? Like, how is that better? How is that better? It sounds like it's the same shit.
Oh, just calling her Aunt Jemima was offensive. So we're just gonna call her by her Christian name now. That's what we do.
And by the way, because these motherfuckers trying to make sure, like, they went so far away from her that the shit doesn't look like, it looks like some generic shit. It looks like a generic version of their shit.
Yeah, the shit literally says Pearl Milling on it. That sounds like Kroger brand. That sounds like
yes. It sounds like all these knockoff versions.
not even the good store generic, not like a Mariano's generic version or a Gelson's generic version. No, it sounds like some low key dog shit generic version. Like,
Hey, dig this, bro. And this is the
like
killing
the
part
IPA
about it.
generic.
You are the leader in the industry. You could pay kids who went to college to come up with a better idea than the one they presently have. Like,
Hey, that looked like somebody pointed at some shit at the last minute because they just had to get some shit to the shop, to the print shop. Like, we gotta have some new packaging. They're killing us on the Aunt Jemima shit. We told them we were gonna check. We gotta have something on it. Fuck it, but use this.
The last thing I want to talk about, that's a fun Black History thing. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco. He has got 7 children by 6 different moms. And it came out that he chose the mothers of his children based on what he believed was a good DNA profile. He openly admits that he said he didn't care. He goes, I don't care what they look like. You ever care about whether a football player is handsome? He goes, I don't care what they look like. What's your 100-meter dash like?
I don't see a problem with it.
So he's just having his own little eugenics experiment going on.
Dude, he has a daughter that might be faster than him.
Wow.
And she's 14.
And he's one of the fastest guys to play the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's
Wow.
ridiculous.
And she's
fast.
nigga, I was reading this
His
shit
son is a
and
college-
I did
his
like
son is
a
a college wide receiver
legitimate
right now.
cartoon double take, like a what? It said she's 14. She ran a 454 seconds. That's man speed, nigga.
I think that is cool if you do it as an individual. I just got a problem with the government doing it.
I think we all can agree on that.
If you want to have your own, obviously I mean, that's how we.
That's actually what you do anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it is anyway. Ooh, look at them titties. Look at that. You know.
I like how he rotated though. He was just like, I don't want to fucking ruin any of the soil anywhere, so I'm just gonna keep my crop rotation going.
Hey, look. 7
by 6 different women. He's just
when people see my son, they give me all the credit for all his size. They ain't see his mama. His mama's in Amazon. I don't mean that in no kind of offensive way. I mean, she's a big body woman.
on that note, it's been another fun ass show. XL, where can people find you online, man?
At XL Comedy at IG, all that shit.
Rob, where can people find you, brother?
In your DMs, ladies, if you got natural hair, a fat butt, and can keep a secret.
Oh shit! You can find me where? You can find me here at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. Find the New OGs at New OGs Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Catch our live episodes every Friday. We have them available to listen to by Monday morning. Go over to People of Comedy at People of Comedy or at People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram. Check out their great shows. Make sure you get there. Find us back here next Friday. Have a great weekend. If you do Valentine's Day, do that. Have a nice Richie Valentine's Day. We out of here.
Deuces.
They said we couldn't do it, now we do it just to say we did it. Fuck a critic on my pivot. I've been ballin'. Engine louder than T-Pain. When I started. Fuck your bitch, now she get attachment. She get calling. High school, you was that nigga. Now you falling. I'ma zigzag through the gang like I'm smoking on trees.